This is Steve Moyer. It's, let's see, today is the 5th of December, I think. It's a Tuesday, 2006. And I'm sitting here next to the fire. Not much of one, but there's a little fire there. Maybe it'll get going as I start talking. Today I'm going to talk about money, or the economy, whichever you prefer. I'm going to talk about it in a different way than we're accustomed to. There are a lot of people who talk about money. They talk about money in terms of how to make money, how to invest money, how to save money, how to play the money game. Well, I'm going to tell you how to get out of the game. Or at least how we could conceivably get out of the game. And what life might be like if we did get out of the game. I'm going to start with the basics. This is a coin. It's a dollar. It's an Eisenhower dollar. I don't know if you can see that too well, but it has a picture of Eisenhower in the front. It has a picture of the eagle on the back. It says $1. It's mostly copper from appearances. It has maybe some silver on the front and the back, but probably not even silver. It's probably some nickel tin alloy. It's worth $1. It's an Eisenhower dollar from 1971. Maybe a collector would give you more than $1 for it, but probably not. It's worth $1. This is another coin, same size. I have 3 coins here. It's same size. This one feels very much like aluminum or something like aluminum. And it has a picture of Skylab on the front. And it says Skylab on it, and it's a commemorative coin. And then on the back it says something to the effect that this is made of metal that flew through space on the Skylab. It's a collector's item. What's it worth? Oh, a lot more than $1 to me. But it might be worthless to you. It was a gift from a friend. A man who worked at the General Electric Space Center in King of Prussia, Pennsylvania. So if I wanted to get another one, I wouldn't know where to go to get one. Maybe I could go to eBay. But in any case, it's a Skylab coin. And then this is a dinosaur coin. Has pictures of dinosaurs on it, and it's Age of the Dinosaur, it says on it. Like play money, right? $1, a dinosaur coin, and a Skylab coin. All about the same size. So whoever says size matters, it wasn't talking about money. Because size doesn't matter when it comes to money. And substance doesn't matter when it comes to money. Because this is also $1. It's paper. It's not coin. So the Eisenhower dollar and this are the same in value. But one is paper and one is coin. So substance doesn't matter with money. Well, what matters? Well, let me bring out another form of money. Credit card. Well, this is actually a debit card. PayPal, MasterCard. Works just like a credit card. Swipe the card, buy something. It's that simple. Well, this isn't coin or paper. It's plastic. But it's not really plastic either. Because I could buy something with these numbers on this card and the number on the back. That's all I need to buy something. I could stick this in a gas pump, pull it out, and buy gas. And not even have to sign anything. Do you ever notice that? When you buy gas with a credit card or a debit card, it doesn't matter. You just pull it and go. Pump your gas. Now, what gives you the authority? Well, the authority to pump gas. What gives you the right to get gas? I've often said I want to make a sticker and put it above every gas pump. You know, be a little terrorist or something, and stick the sticker on top of the gas pump as a handle and say, "Squeeze handle to justify war." Because that's what you're doing. Why not tell people what you're doing when you're doing it? You squeeze that handle on the pump and you're saying, "Give me some gas." Well, what gives you the right to tell anybody to give you some gas, to demand it, to say, it must be there, I insist? Well, money gives you the right. Your Visa or MasterCard, or your paper, or your coins. That's what gives you the money. That's what gives you the right to demand that that gas be there. Demand it. It's not a request. It's not like, I'd like to have some gas, please. No, I demand the gas. And what gives you the right to demand the gas? Money. What is money? What is common to all these three forms of money? The plastic credit card, the paper dollar, and the coin dollar. Well, numbers. Numbers? They all are about numbers. Money is always about numbers, and numbers are always abstract. There's something else money is always about. It's about control. It's about you will do as I wish because I have the money. It's not a democracy. It's not, hey, let's take a vote on this and see whether we want to do this. No, I've got the money. We do as I say because I've got the money. It's like that. It's not like, hey, let's all sit around and hold hands and figure it out. No, that's not what money is. Money is an autocracy. Money is a tyranny. Money is the boss. The man is money. That's why you go work for the man. The man is money. Money is the man. Money is the man. Did you hear it? The man is the man giving you the orders. The man is the man giving you commandments and demanding your compliance. Let's warm this up a little bit. Get this fire going. You know, that's why we're in Iraq, because you squeeze the handle and demand the gas. And George Bush and the Republicans say, we understand what you want. It's a demand economy. And you're demanding you want the gas, so we're going to go get it. Let's go, boys. Mount up your Mounties. Let's charge those Arabs in the Middle East and grab their gas. Hey, it's rule of the force, rule of military force, brute force, Machiavellian rule. You take what you need. You're John Wayne and you take what you need. You don't take any lip from anybody. You're an American. Now, come on, round up those horses. Let's go get that gas. Oh, we got to kill people? Oh, well, tough luck. That's life. You got to break a couple eggs to make an omelet, right? That's the idea of money. We are in Iraq for money, for the sake of money. So when somebody says, well, why are we in Iraq? Well, we're in Iraq because money says go to Iraq. Well, you've got to start talking about, I want us to start talking about money in terms of what it says, because it says the same thing to all of us. It isn't like it says something to you and something different to me. It says the same thing to all of us. Life is about control and domination. So you can be the one that's being dominated, or you can be the one that's dominating. You can be on top, or you can be underneath. Money says, take your pick. Take your pick. You want to be on top, you want to be underneath, wherever you want to be. But it's all about this domination game. Who's on top? And of course, people with the most money are closest to the top. But nobody is really on top, if you examine it carefully. Money as an idea is on top. Money is dominating our consciousness. It's like, well, I have to get money to live. Why? Why do you have to get money to live? Well, because government stands there behind money with a gun and says, you will do as money says. You will obey money. Imagine what government would be like if it wasn't about money. It might be about human rights. It might be about justice. It might be about virtue. That's why I say teach virtue, because it will take us in the direction of a new government. This government is all about money. money is running the government. The idea was that government would run money, that government would regulate money for the benefit of humankind. That was the idea way back when. But it never really worked that way. It was always a deception. And when you believe in money, that your freedom comes from money, then you are deluded. You are believing in an illusion. And when I point out your delusion to you and you refuse to let go of it, you refuse to allow me to break the spell, then you're demented. You're crazy. You're insane. And this is what we see in Iraq with George Bush. He's insane. Everybody's trying to get him to see how this idea he had was demented, insane, delusional. But he's still hanging on to it. And so he becomes the Dementor, like in Harry Potter. He is demented. He's mentally ill. And all the people who think we need to stay there are mentally ill. They're doing it for the sake of money, for the sake of dominance. Money is an evil system of control and domination for the benefit of the few at the expense of the many. I shall repeat that one because it's a good line. Money is an evil system of control and domination for the benefit of the few at the expense of the many. Now, a lot of people go, oh, no, money's not evil. Money's neutral. No, it's not neutral. It benefits the rich. It benefits people who already have it. It's easier to make money once you have money. That's not neutral. Neutral would be everybody's on the same playing field. But that's not how money works. It never did work that way. It always worked to the benefit of those who had it already. Those people who have money can make more money easily. It concentrates itself by its nature. That's not a good thing. That's an evil thing. Then you have to have government, a countervailing force, come in and break up these monopolies, break up these concentrations of wealth. Say, oh, we're going to have to shake things up. Well, now you've got to expend energy fixing a problem that was created by your economic system, the concentration of wealth syndrome. So it is not neutral. And some people will say money is natural. No, it's not natural. It's entirely man-made. It's entirely made up in our minds. There is nothing in money that is natural. You can't give me something that grows on a tree that is money. It's an entirely abstract thought. And it's based by the gun. Money is a rule of numbers by violence. It's gun numbers. Numbers and guns. That's the nature of money. You will do as I say or I will kill you. That's the bottom line of money. And of course, we all say, well, we don't want each other saying that to each other. So we'll turn that authority over to government. So that government is the only one holding the gun. And government will say, you will do as we say, or we will kill you. And that becomes the tyranny of our lives. And when government is based on money or corrupted by money, as we've seen, then basically there's just money. And there's this little phantom of a figure out there called government, which is trying to persuade you that you actually have a say in what's going on, when really money is one having the say over government. Money has a consciousness of its own. And once the people in government have this money consciousness, which they do, it's kind of hopeless because they're not able to break out of the box on their own. So the purpose of this video is to tell you how to break out of the box. First of all, see money for what it is. It's a control paradigm issue. That is to say, it's about controlling people. And control is an illusion. Therefore, if you believe in money, you believe in an illusion. That makes you deluded. If you're unwilling to give up that delusion when I point it out to you, then you're demented. You're crazy. You're insane. So it goes from illusion to delusion to dementia. That's where we're at. Money has made us crazy. Bottom line. We need a new economic system. We need a new political system. We need one that takes us in the right direction as a society, as individuals. Yeah. Takes us in the right direction. What is the right direction? The right direction is the virtuous direction. The right direction is the direction which works to create a better society, a more loving society, a more compassionate society, a more generous society. A right direction is one that produces more virtue, more solutions. Now, the current direction that we're in is one of overconsumption, overproduction, everything over. There you go. Excess. And that somehow we have to drive this economy, we have to expand this economy, we have to grow this economy. This is the kind of language, kind of thinking that money creates. Grow this economy so that we can all be wealthy. But when you actually start thinking about it, it doesn't make much sense. There's 1.3 billion people, maybe 1.5 billion in China. Okay, so we're going to grow the economy so that the Chinese people can have the kind of lifestyle we have. That would only be fair. I mean, they are working 40, 60 hours a week. Why shouldn't they have the kind of lifestyle we have? You start doing the numbers, and you start looking at it and go, hey, see, now they're all going to have air conditioners and cars and computers and microwaves and iPods and... Wait a minute. The Earth is going to die from pollution long before the Chinese get everything we have. Oops. Doesn't work. Growing the economy doesn't work as a solution. Because even though you might conceivably be able to find enough raw materials to do that, what kind of a mess are you making of the economy, of the world, of the environment? What is going on? Well, sustainability is the word. And the economic system we are in now is not sustainable. It's unsustainable. Yes, we can grow for a while, but soon global warming and environmental changes will catch up with us, pollution will catch up with us. And we'll say, oh, we can't do this anymore. We have to find a different way. And the different way is going to be reducing our consumption. But the economic system doesn't work with reduced consumption. At least I'd like somebody to explain to me how it could. Because people keep needing money to pay their rent and their mortgage and their bills, to pay off their loans, their student loans, whatever they have. They got to have that money. That means they have to go to work. That means they have to produce something. They don't actually have to produce something for the rest of us because, 10% of the people could produce enough stuff for the rest of society, given the productive capacity of industry nowadays with technology. Probably 10% of the people could work and the rest of us could sit around. But that doesn't work in terms of money because we got to have money. Well, why do we have to have money? Because the system says we have to have money. Why does the system require it? Because that's the way it's structured. Because in order to keep this control paradigm in operation, we have to continually make more and give some of it to the rich. Some of what we produce goes to the rich, and they don't work for it. Don't fool yourself into thinking they're working for it. It's the tyranny of money that says we have to pay them. That is the fundamental evil of the system, is the idea that you have to pay some people just because they have money. Not because they've done anything of value, but because they have money. Because they own things. This idea of property needs to be examined. The idea of capital, the idea that I'm in charge here, I'm in control, that delusion needs to be challenged and broken down. It needs to be about what needs to be done rather than who's in charge. So, we need to compare, for example, money with its inverse. What is the inverse or opposite of money? Money is based on control. Money is based on numbers. What's the opposite of control? What's the inverse of control? Cooperation. Now, there's a hard question. What's the inverse of numbers? Actually, it's quality. Quality is the inverse of quantity. So we need an economic system based on quality and on cooperation. And you can go down the line. Money is government issued and government controlled, and all the alternative option B, I call it, is personal responsibility. And money is artificial scarcity. The inverse, option B, is abundance. Money is about fear. This is never enough to go around, and you're afraid you won't get what you need unless you go compete with others. Money is about competition. The inverse is about love. Love is the inverse of fear. Money's about fear. The inverse is about love. Let's give a name to the inverse so that we can talk about it in a different sense. The name I give it is the spiritual economy. The inverse of money, the flip of money, is the spiritual economy. And in a lot of ways, money is the devil, because it tells us that we should buy into this delusion that we can be in control. Get some of this stuff, and you're in control of other people. And that's what you should do. That's the purpose of your life, is to be in control of your environment, and that includes other people because they're in your environment. That's the delusion, the dementia of money. And then it says, well, we're going to have religion and government to kind of balance out the evil of money so that, you're going to get your message from religion. But religion gets corrupted by money. In fact, this is what corrupts just about everything, is money, when you look at it. Government gets corrupted by money. Religion gets corrupted by money. We each get individually corrupted by money. I'll tell you the truth, except if there's money in it, I'll tell you a lie. See? I lie for money. Don't you lie for money? I'll do evil for money, won't you? See? What is that? Why is that even something that we tolerate in our lives? The idea that it's okay to lie for money, that it's okay to be corrupted for money. Why do we accept that? This is a deep philosophical question, because we know it's wrong in our hearts. In our hearts, we know it's wrong. But we still do it. We still play games for money. We know you're supposed to love people. You're not supposed to play games with them, dominance games. Right? We're supposed to trust each other. We're supposed to be kind to each other. Money doesn't teach kindness or trust. It teaches suspicion and cruelty. All the way down the line, money's teaching the wrong lessons. And money is power. That's true. What's the opposite of power? That's a good question. Principle. The inverse of power is principle. You stand on principle. The spiritual economy is the good one. But we're too busy with the real economy, the dominance economy, the control paradigm economy, the evil economy. We're too busy with that one to create the other one. Don't bother me with this thing about spiritual economy and virtues and all this stuff, Steve. I'm busy making money. Go away. I don't have time for it. There it is. That's evil. That's what I call money consciousness. Money consciousness is I don't have time. I don't have time. And you'll notice that people who are very wrapped up in money are always out of time. They don't have time for you as a human being. And time is a delusion. Time is a form of tyranny. The very concept that there is a time, there's an atomic clock somewhere that's keeping time, and that we are all racing against time, that there is only so much time, again, this scarcity factor, you see the paradigm? And that you have to do it in this amount of time, otherwise you fail. Again, the game, you see the game? There are winners and there are losers, and the clock will tell us who's the winner and who's the loser. Time is the delusion. Ego. Ego has a certain amount of time. How long do you live? Well, that's how much time you've got. But what about if you're dedicated to something like virtue? Well, then you're timeless. Because virtue goes on long after each of us dies. Now you're starting to get it in terms of how they think in Islam. Muslims, how some of them think anyway, in terms of the transcendence of the values and the principles that they are fighting for or supporting. There's where the war is, if there is a war. I think there is just ignorance. But some people think there's a war going on. Well, if there's a war going on, that's where it is, in the idea realm, in the spiritual realm. In the realm of, this is an idea worth fighting for. The Muslims may be saying that their ideas are worth fighting for. Justice is worth fighting for. Mercy is worth fighting for. Truth is worth fighting for. Respect, honor, these are virtues. These are transcendent values. They transcend the individual. Individuals are begin, live, die. But virtues go on forever. Love goes on forever. Kindness, compassion, respect. These things go on forever. And we can support them with our actions for the period of time that we're here, if we want. Or we could support ideas like money. Say that my life is about money. And I will go through my life thinking about money, because whatever you're thinking about, you're creating, you're supporting. If you think about virtue, you're supporting virtue. If you think about money, you're supporting money. If you think about dominance and control, you're thinking about dominance and control. This is the spiritual war we are in with Iraq and with the Muslims and with George Bush and everything else. It's all coming up to the surface, as it should. Because that's what's really important at this point in our evolution, is we've got some bad ideas in our head. And money is one of the principal ones. And underneath it is another bad idea, which is you're not good enough. That you're not good enough by yourself to be deserving of what you need. That you have to go out and work for the man. That you have to be controlled. That you have to surrender your autonomy, your will, to money, to the man, to someone else. Because you're not good enough to decide for yourself what's right and what's wrong, what's necessary, what's unnecessary. That would be anarchy. We can't have anarchy. And so money comes in as the organizing influence, the means by which we control society and direct each other's activities. Now, I know that sounds pretty far out, but it's true. And my job is to speak the truth. How to get out of the trap of money. It's a game, it's a trap. How to get out? Look at what it is, tell the truth about it, and build the alternative. Now, I've known about this for 10 years. Over 10 years I've been talking about this, what I call the spiritual economy. It's a good thing to think about. And what I've noticed is that even just talking about it changes people. People change their behavior just hearing me talk about the spiritual economy. They start dealing with money differently. And that's good. It's a step in the right direction. They're like, yeah, you know, money really isn't this great thing that we should worship. And there really is a need for something else in society. And some people have tried to develop alternative economic systems. And yes, they have, to some extent, done so. But we come back to government, because if government doesn't recognize the alternative, then you're still stuck with money. When it comes time to pay your taxes, can you use the alternative system or not? If not, then government becomes the enforcer of the tyranny of money. And that is basically what is the downfall of economic systems, other systems, is that, hey, they don't work for everything. They may work for something. You may be able to barter some things with these credits or whatever, but the idea that you're going to control the behavior of other people with a currency, with a money system, is the idea that has to be undone. You need to go into the gift economy. The idea that I'm not controlling anything. I'm cooperating with you. I'm sharing information in the open, the truth about what's happened, and we are rewarding people based on what they've actually done. That's right, rewarding people based on what they've actually done, rather than saying, well, you've got to serve my egoistic desires. You've got to make me boss for a day, and then I'll give you something of value. No. That's not the right way to be. The right way to be is say, did you do what needed to be done in this situation? You did, well, you deserve to be rewarded for that. And since I'm the one that has the ability to reward you, I will do it. Since I'm in the position of doing it, I will do it. That our definition of wealth needs to change from, rather than how much have I acquired for myself, how much have I given to others? Appropriately, intelligently, consensually, and there's the word, consensual. Do we all agree that this person deserved whatever it is I gave them? Yeah. If we do, then it was a good gift. Education is the source of all true wealth. And in the money system, people are kept ignorant so that they can be controlled. And I could give you many examples, but if you just think about how there are many different programs and many different places, organizations and so forth, which help people. But how do you find out about this stuff? You're kept ignorant about it. There are maybe a few television commercials that tell you about how to get heating assistance or how to get food stamps or something, but very few. It's not very well organized. It's a difficult system to deal with because there is no way to find all the ways that you can get what you need. It should be an organized system. It should be easy to deal with. Meanwhile, the television is barking commercials at you all the time. All these commercial messages, which are about money. Buy my stuff, rather than here's the free stuff. Well, you can see that the tyranny of money has to be this way. It has to say, well, we have to silence these people that are giving away free stuff because we won't be able to sell our stuff if people are getting it for free. So we have to deny people the knowledge of how to get it for free so that we can sell them our stuff. We have to keep people ignorant. That's part of money consciousness. You make money by keeping people ignorant. If you look at the Iraq situation, there are heaps of companies that have made heaps of money by keeping the people ignorant about what's going on in Iraq. If we knew what was going on in Iraq, we would say, this is enough. Stop this. But as long as they can keep us ignorant and keep us saying, hey, you know what, we're building schools and da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da, we're reconstructing stuff, yeah. Well, what's the truth? Tell us the truth. What's really going on in Iraq? If they did that, we would say, look, this isn't working. Forget it. We're not doing it anymore. We're not successfully controlling the people over there. We are failing to control the people over there. Money paradigm has failed. And if you can see it, you can see how we created this by wanting something we were not justly deserving. It goes back to that gas pump. Give me the gas. It doesn't matter whether I deserve it. It doesn't matter whether it's justice. Give it to me because I have money. And I'm in control because I have money. Here's the delusion, see? It's really sickness. It's dementia. I'm in control because I have money. Give me that gas. And so George Bush and the Republicans march off to war because we've told them to march off to war. We didn't say, give the gas to the people who need it the most. No, that was not what we said. We said, I don't give a crap about the rest of the world. I got a Hummer, it gets 7 miles to the gallon, give me the gas. I'm going to worship the people who have the Hummers. I'm going to bow down to them and say, you are a god, Arnold Schwarzenegger. You've got a Hummer. Well, he's got a nice Hummer. I guess he's got one that's fitted with hydrogen or something. He's one step ahead of us. Wasteful consumption. That's part of the nature of money. It's more about keeping the game going than it is about sustainability of the earth. Money is a delusion. When you believe in the delusion, you are demented. When you believe in an illusion, that makes it a delusion. We need to break each other's delusions. We need to break the spells by telling the truth. Come out of the spell. Wake up. Wake up. Money is an evil system. We need a new economy. Now, don't run out and say, oh, well, we're going to have a revolution. No, the revolution is up here, in your mind, in my mind, in our mind. The revolution is in the realm of ideas. The war is in the realm of ideas, the spiritual war. It's about what are we doing here? Are we here to fight over who's in control, who's in charge, who's dominant? Or are we here to evolve human virtue for the benefit of all things in the universe? The evolution of human virtue for all things. Now that's a pretty high purpose. It's a good one. Maybe there's a higher one, but it's good for now. Let's focus on doing that. The evolution of human virtue for the benefit of all things. That includes the earth and everything that lives on the earth, and the cosmos, and God, and anything else you can conceive of. All things. In other words, we're here to do good for the purpose of good. To evolve virtue for the benefit of all things. And I give you that. That's a higher purpose than I'm here to control you through money and government. I'm here to make laws to dominate you. I'm here to make the money so you will do what I say, you know, all that dementia. No, that's not high stuff. That's low stuff. And when you start talking about it that way to each other, it's like, you're captured by the dementia of money. You're demented. Yeah, come out of the spell, brother, sister. Come out of the spell. Live in the truth. Live in virtue. Teach virtue. It's the best way to learn it. Teach it. Find somebody who doesn't know virtue and teach it to them. Or even find somebody who does know virtue and teach it to them. What is virtue? Well, I've got 50 on my site. Love is a virtue. Kindness, respect, consideration, tolerance, flexibility, truthfulness, honesty, honor, tact. These are all virtues. Forgiveness, mercy. These are all virtues. They're good things to do. And you practice them. Teaching them is a good thing because then you think about them. And whatever you think about, you create. If you're thinking about controlling people, that's what you're doing. If you're thinking about money, and that's what you're doing. You're going down that path. Let it go. Think about virtue. Learn the process of teaching virtue over the goal of teaching virtue. Enjoy the process. Now, as far as the spiritual economy goes, I'll talk a little bit more about that. I envision a system on the internet where we could make records of our transactions, since we're into this whole number thing. And maybe that's the flaw of the spiritual economy as an idea, is that it's still into numbers. But it does play with them, and that's good. It has a playful attitude towards numbers. You can create any number of credits in the spiritual economy any day of the week. And give them to anybody you want. Well, what are they? What are they worth? Well, they're numbers, that's all. Just like money is numbers. But they're not worth anything. Because there's no force behind them. In the sense that there's no gun. The government's not going to enforce your spiritual economy credits. The government's not going to say, you have to do something for these credits. No. The government is going to just say they don't exist. They don't exist at all. Because when you join the spiritual economy, you will sign an agreement that says all spiritual economy credits are worthless. And that you agree they're all worthless. I have no right to expect anything from anyone for credits. Here's where you see how expectation is the stuff of evil. Because money lets us expect something. As soon as you expect something, you're moving out of responsibility. You're moving into the realm of, I'm going to get what I want by controlling the situation. I'm going to demand that things happen the way that I want them to happen. Give me the gas. That's evil. That leads to war. So if you want to know who's responsible for war, ask yourself, well, what have I done today to create an alternative to gas? An alternative to a demand economy. A demand economy. Supply and demand. Am I cooperating with people who are looking to create a better way? Am I really studying virtue? Am I teaching virtue today? Teach it. Don't just talk about it or think about it. It's good to think about, but teach it. Because when you teach it, you learn it. That's the first thing that happens. And the second thing that happens is you appreciate it more because you've given it to someone else. And teaching virtue can be as simple as teaching the words, just saying them. Nice to have a fire. So, let's see. Oh, money is anti-community. Yeah. There's more money to be made in splitting people up than pulling them together. So if you want to save money, get together. Community saves money. Isolation costs money. There's more money to be made in community. Oh, less money to be made in community. More money to be made in breaking people up. If two people are married and they get separated, there's now two households. There's more money to be made. Sell furniture, yeah, housing, heating costs, everything. Focus on community, pulling people together. We have, of course, been working on ourselves to try and convince ourselves that our desires are what's important, and that life is about fulfilling our desires and meeting our goals. Of course, that's all the money system way. That's money consciousness. It keeps us going, the goals and the desire fulfillment. But it's not healthy for us in the long run, or even in the short run. It's going the wrong direction. And this is where righteousness can be determined in terms of direction. Which is the right direction? Well, community is the right direction. Anti-community is the wrong direction. Isolationism is the wrong direction. Globalism is the right direction, in the sense of we are all one family, the human family. So you go and you get into open borders. Get into the idea that the Mexicans and the Chinese can come over here. Well, moderation is a virtue too. Moderate change. One baby step at a time. We have to know where we're going, and we are going to open borders society, I think. One where we can trust each other, and one where the wealth is distributed fairly. And that government does serve the evolution of virtue and human society. So, that all needs to happen in small steps. Education needs to happen all along the road. If you think about it objectively in terms of how much good could we do if we wanted to do good, it's no shortage of money. That's not the issue. It's the vehicle for doing good that needs to be there. The standards. I'm a computer programmer, and I know that if we have standards, we can do a whole lot more with a lot less work, less effort, less sacrifice. Money makes us suffer. Money makes us sacrifice in the sense that it makes us do things that don't need to be done for the sake of money. We're working for money. We're working to support the system, the idea. Just go through life and look at, everybody who has a job and say, now, does this job really need to exist? If we restructured society in a different way, could we do what needs to be done without this person doing this job? And you would find there were a lot of people who have jobs that don't need to exist. Insurance does not need to exist, I assure you. Insurance is all about money. And did you know, just as a little sideline, Larry Silverstein, the man who had the lease on the World Trade Center, paid $15 million for an insurance policy that paid him $7 billion. Now, there's a return on your investment. Yeah. $15 million for an insurance policy that paid him $7 billion. There's a movie, if you go to Google and you can find it, it's called 9/11 Mysteries. It's a good documentary. It goes, 9/11 is really a blessing in the sense that there are all kinds of movies and shows and people who are telling the truth about it. And the truth just keeps coming. There's more truth, if you notice. It's blossoming. It's wonderful. It's a cornucopia of blessings, because as we look at what's coming out of the 9/11 episode in our history, we're seeing that a lot of deception is there. A lot of deliberate deception is there. People trying to get us to see things differently than they are. And the 9/11 Truth Movement is saying, look, this is not true. This is true. And you see how people are deluded and delusional in the sense that they're attached to a particular belief, such as the official story of 9/11. And they're attached to it without any reason to be attached to it. It's like, well, why are you so emotionally attached to believing this official story when the facts do not fit the official story? The official story is out of consort with the facts. It's out of harmony. And you ought to look for this idea of correspondence, that one way we know the truth is whether it corresponds to the facts. It corresponds to other truths that we know. And the official theory does not. So why are you so certain that you know what happened? Ask yourself, if you believe the official story, why am I so certain that it is the correct view of what happened? I'm so certain of it that I won't look at any other information. I won't examine 9/11 Mysteries at Google Video, like Steve said I should. I won't look at that movie. It's an hour and a half long. It tells about the demolitions of the World Trade Center buildings. But they were brought down with explosives. Now, I've already changed my beliefs about 9/11 several times. Have you? We need to be able to do this. We need to be able to say, oh, well, I was wrong. No big deal, but I used to believe this, and that was not true. So then I believe this. Oh, that was not true. Then I believe this. And hopefully what's going on here is you're evolving yourself towards a view or a belief or a set of truths which is more in harmony with virtue, more in harmony with everything, basically. Unity. Unity is a virtue. So as we evolve in our beliefs regarding anything and everything, God, 9/11, sex, whatever your beliefs are, as you evolve your beliefs, they ought to take you into unity. They ought to take you into virtue and produce good results. If you get to a point where you're going, well, I'm not going to look at any more information, I'm fed up with looking at this information, well, then you know you're not in unity, you're not in virtue, you're not there. You say, I haven't got time for the truth. What's that about? You haven't got time for the truth. Somebody says, here's the truth about 9/11. You go, oh, I haven't got time for that. Why not? So much of what's happened since 9/11 has been based on 9/11. Our foreign policy, for example. The war in Iraq, for example. If you don't have time for the truth, then that means we've lost it. We've lost our virtue, because truthfulness is a virtue, and reverence is a virtue, and reverence for the truth is a virtue. So remember, it's all about numbers. And it is not paper or coin or credit cards. That's not what money is. Money is a control paradigm issue. It is an evil system for control and domination, for the benefit of the rich or the few, at the expense of the poor or the many. So to recap, money is an evil system of control and domination for the benefit of the few, at the expense of the many. We need an alternative. We can have an alternative. I call it the spiritual economy. It's based on abundance, based on personal responsibility, based on quality assessment, that is to say, rate your transactions with people in the open. I was satisfied, I was unsatisfied. And so what becomes the focus is the quality of the relationships you have with others, rather than the quantity of numbers. I can create 1 million credits in the spiritual economy any day of the week. I can give them to you. What do they mean? Not much. Unless you rate me in a quality way and you say, I was very satisfied with those credits. And you give quality information as to what were they for. This becomes a way of telling the truth and honoring people who are doing good deeds. It's very important to honor people who do good deeds and uplift them. That's what honoring is. And the existing system is very bad at doing that. It can do it, but it's very difficult for it to do it because you're living in fear with money. You say, well, I don't have enough. I'm not good enough. But with the spiritual economy, you're saying, I am good enough. I can create abundance any day of the week. And I can give it to you. And I trust you to do the right thing with it. These are virtues. Trust is a virtue. Generosity is a virtue. Truthfulness is a virtue. So, we need a new economy. Let's create it. Go to my website, stevemoyer.us, find out more about it. Write me, steve@stevemoyer.us. Participate, join in, create community, do the right things, teach virtue. Even if you do nothing else, teach people the value of virtue. Learn the virtues yourself. That's the best way to teach them. How are you going to teach something if you don't already know it? And you do already know it, more than likely. Go to my website, stevemoyer.us, and look for the virtues. Teach them. So my name's Steve Moyer. Today is December 5th, 2006, and I wish you well. Blessings.